Chapter 39 Styling Individual Element with CSS. Identifying an element. ID. Identifier selectors are like name tags. They identify a specific element and apply CSS styling to it. An ID name within a CSS document says this style applies only to the element within this ID. When using ID attribute, you must work in both the CSS and HTML document. CSS ID selector. You can create an ID selector for a CSS style that will be applied to a specific element in an HTML file. Instead of using the element name like P as the selector for the new style type sharp and ID number, ID name. The ID name can be anything you want, but no spaces are allowed. You can make an ID selector called introduction and assign in a type that a style that has a font size 18 pixels like this. PX stands for pixel, is one of the ways of measuring font type size. The standard font size on website is 16px, which is the same size as the 12-point font in Microsoft Word. Introduction. Font size 18px. A pixel px is also the smallest point right on a screen. If you look very closely at the screen, you can see a tiny dot. Each one of those dots is a pixel. Step back from the screen and all the dots blend together to make the clear image. HTML ID attribute. Attributes are added to a text to give the computer more information about the element. Use the ID attribute to identify the element you want to style with the CSS code. You add it to the CSS file. For example, you can insert an ID attribute called introduction to identify P element within the app page. Add this code here, the opening P tag. ID. Introduction. Oh, hello there. Using the additional of the ID attribute, this P element will now the style according to the sharp introduction style created in CSS, and the font size for oh hello there will be the set to 18px when displayed on the app site. The class selector. The class selector is used to style a group of elements. A class selector identifies multiple elements and applies the same style to all of them. When using the class selector, you must work in both CSS and HTML document. For example, you can use the class selector to make the text blue in 2 of the 3 paragraphs in a website. CSS class selector. To create a class selector for a CSS style, type a period and a class name. The class name can be anything you want, but no space are allowed. You can make a class selector called overview and assign it a style where the text color is blue. Dot overview color blue. HTML class attribute. You can add a class attribute to specify P element by typing class equal and the class name. For example, you can insert a class called overview to identify 2P element within the page. Add this code opening P tag. Class equal overview. Oh, hello there. A class overview the site to learn more about. These 2 paragraphs will display in blue text on the website. Classes can be added multiple elements, even if the elements are not the same type. You could also add the class, the heading, and it would turn the heading blue. Class overview, add the class view, the overview blue, overview value. Important. Be very careful with the spelling and capitalization. If you spell or capitalize the ID or class in the HTML file differently than the way you spell and capitalize in the CS file, the style won't be applied correctly. If the text isn't showing up the way you intended, the first thing you should check is spelling and capitalization. Width and height. The CSS property width and height allow you to realize resize elements like image, list, and paragraph. When resizing images, if you resize just the width and height will automatically scale to match the width. When you're describing the width or height of an image, px represents how many pixels width and tall the object should be. For example, if we have an image this is 100 px wide and 200 pixels tall, and you set the width to 200 px wide, and height will be automatically scaled to 400 px tall, because the width of this image of half of this is height. To set an image on a website to 175 pixel wide, add this code to the CSS file. Image width 175 px. You can also size your image by percentage in relation to the size of the element block as displayed. For example, you can set an image on a website to 50% or half the size of the element block using this code with 50%. Borders, margins, and padding. You can use CSS to add space around images. Border can be colored frame around all elements, including images, paragraphs, heading, and list. Margin and padding. Add block space around the element. Padding is the space between the element contents and its border. The margin is the space between the border and the rest of the website. Content, padding, border, margin. You can add a margin to an img element using the margin property in CSS. For example, you can give an image a 10 pixel margin by adding the margin property value and 10px as each value. Select an image in the HTML document, margin, 10px, add the margin. Some properties like the border property are special because you can add more than one value in the same declaration. For example, add 6 pixel solid orange as the value to make the border 6 pixels thick, solid lines, and orange. Image, border, 6px, solid orange. Insert a semicolon at the end of each declamation. To create a style that includes the margin, border, padding, and width of an image, you can combine word declaration using a single image selector with each new declaration on a new line. Margin 10px, border 6px solid orange, padding 20px, width 50%. The style will set all image elements to have a margin of 10 pixels, a solid border that's 6 px width and orange, a padding of 20 px, and a width of 50% of the width of the browser window. The declaration could also be written as img margin 10 px, border 6 px, solid orange, padding 20px, width 50%. The intense and separate lines make it easier for the programmer to read. Symbols. Assignment operator, addition operator, subtraction operator, multiplication operator, division operator, is equal to operator, is greater than operator, is greater than or equal to operator. Hashtag is less than operator, is less than or equal to operator, is not equal to. Modulus, exponential, floor division,